Welcome guys, the PlayStation 2, being the most sold console in that generation, in my opinion is a must mod console. Now in the past I have looked into HDMI solutions, SD card hacks and also solid state drives, so there's a lot of support when it comes to the PlayStation 2 modding scene. Now the one mod I never thought I needed until I actually installed it and tested it was the cooling system with the updated Noctua Fan, so we can get the PlayStation 2 from originally sounding from something like this over to sounding like this. So as you can see guys, it does have a really nice smooth finish and a more of a premium build quality than you see these 3D printed versions out there. So after experiencing that, I think this is a must for PlayStation 2 mod fanatics. So this mod and more can be found at the RightSprite web store, so I hope you guys would check that out, and if you want to support this type of content, hit that like and subscribe button, that'd be much appreciated. So now let's get into a basic installation. Now there is no soldering needed as well for this, so it was a lot easier than I originally expected. Now I do really recommend this upgrade for owners of the 3000 model, which is the most sold model. So let's get into it. So this pack comes with a Noctua Fan and the PlayStation 2 Fat Model Coolant Mod Kit. Included with this purchase is the fan connector cable converter, which is a standard 3-pin to a PlayStation 2 mini 2-pin version. We also have 2 cable tidy sticky pads, and the Noctua Fan is the most recommended fan brand for build quality and cooling for PC building and more. So the next part is a quick guide on opening up your PlayStation 2 to access the old fan and replace this with the upgrade. If you want to skip this, if you are already a proficient user, there is simply some timestamps you can skip this part below. So first, remove the 8 screw covers shown here. Now that we got screw access, I was feeling a bit lazy, but I don't really recommend using an electric screwdriver as you're more likely to screw in the screws too much. Now we can lift off the lid, but be careful because there is a power ribbon cable coming from the power switch to the motherboard. Then we do have 2 screws at the back side next to the power switch and 2 holding down the controller ports. Next up is to turn this around. Oh, I forgot, there is a rotary stick here still holding these 2 pieces together, so best remove that first of all. Now we got 4 screws holding down this power board. When you are pulling this up, be careful because there is a 4-pin connector to the motherboard, so you want to give it a slight little wiggle and it is off. But when you do remove this, it is attached again to a 2-pin power cable, so just tilt it to the left hand side to create less damage. So unclip the power cable connected, and yes, this entire thing gives power to the motherboard. There is a USB-C power mod upgrade that I'll be looking into and get my hands on very soon, so keep an eye out on that. Remove the hard drive shielding and the plastic protective shielding. And here is the little fella connecting to the original fan that we can finally upgrade. So carefully disconnect that, and here it is, and wow, this is a groggy looking fella, meaning dirty if you're not a local viewer. Now it's time to install the upgrade, connect the 2-pin to 3-pin converter, remove the power switch then, as we will be keeping this for now, and here is the new quality built holder. The power switch clips in very nicely, then connect the 2-pin to 3-pin converter cable. Now that we got the new fan placed in with the label side facing up to draw out the heat, and holding it all together are these rubber fittings. Now there is 4 you just put in the corner, but there are screws that comes with it, but the rubber ones apparently absorb less heat. So when this is all lined up, you then just pull these rubber bands to make this fit more tightly. So the upgrade is now complete, we just have to put this console back all together. So we put the hard drive shielding down first, and then we connect the power board back to the 4 pins. And then we just fit around this upgrade by lifting the console up, and there we have it. It is nicely fitted. So upon putting this all together, I did notice something pretty gross, that there was a little fella hiding in the DVD drive cover. So yeah, that inspired me to give this console a good cleanup, as this is already open anyway. So we put the 4 screws back onto this power board and then place this back on the original shell very carefully because we still have that ribbon cable connected. There is a little opening there, we can slide that through, and then we put just 2 screws back on the power switch and then back on the controller ports. So now that we got this all back together, it was a bit of an easier process than I thought. You do have to push the shell together so it does clip in nicely before screwing it all back together. So there we are, let's put this expansion bay cover back on and let's fire this up. So I had to check if there was any ventilation going on because it was so quiet, and yes, there's plenty of air coming out. I understand this is not the most professional way to capture a sound comparison, but I'm sure you can understand the dynamic on how extra silent this new upgrade is. And to confirm for you guys, I am working with a PAL 3003R model. I know there is material out there on YouTube that are working with the NTSC model, but here we can confirm this working with the PAL console. So with this fan upgrade, there has been a change on power distribution. So let's test this out with some further upgrade accessories, in which I enjoy using these 3D printed holders to keep it all together nice and tidy. Yeah, the quality is not as good as this new fan upgrade mod, but they do the job. So in goes the SATA drive and now the SATA network adapter, in which purchase links can be found in the description box below. And lastly, to keep things simple, I use this little HDMI adapter to hook up to my monitor. So then that will be plugged into the front facing USB ports, and then I do use these Blue Retro wireless controller adapters for the PS1 and 2. And then to soft mod hack this PS2, I simply use this hack pack kit. And all this can be found again in the description box below with a purchase link. So now that I'm using more power by taking up the USB ports, the expansion bay and the wireless receivers, will this fan mod still work? It's a resounding yes, which is great news. And I'm using the mechanical drive, so the volume is slightly higher. I've been meaning to get an SSD drive for this to really quieten this awesome console down. Now to test this with a PS2 MX4SIO kit SD, my personal preferred method, by cancelling out expansion bay being used. It appears this time around I've got a BIOS setup screen, which I've never seen before and does look pretty cool. But yes, this does work really well, making it the more quieter setup. Now, if you are a owner of the 5003 model, the later console revision, this already has a silent fan installed, and comparing this to the fan upgrade, there's not much difference, but I would say the upgrade on the 3003 does slightly come across quieter, especially in long playtime. Which now brings me to test this out using a more demanding title in a more cluttered, packed environment. And for around about an hour, this console only got ever so slightly warm. I did continue getting this BIOS setup screen upon booting this up, but then, which got me asking, is there a problem with the CMOS battery or a motherboard connection issue, but it seemed to amend itself shortly after. So it's been a pleasure. I'm very happy with this upgrade for my Black 3003 model, making it now my personal favourite PlayStation 2 console. As mentioned, all goods I shown earlier to upgrade your PlayStation 2 experience can be found at the RightSprite store. So hope you guys check that out, and on my next video.